ADR Incorporated, located in Park Ridge, Illinois, and America's Heroes Group Advisory Board member. We also have Andrew Tangen, U.S. Navy JD, MBA, Superintendent Assistance Commission of Lake County, Illinois, and we will be talking about Veterans Assistance Commission of County, Illinois, the programs and services that are offered there. And with all of this on in your bios and your resumes, I'm not sure of how you have enough time to be on the radio with us, but it sounds like you have very, very busy lives. And Cliff, you can take it away with talking to them because it sounds like they are extremely talented and busy.
Well, they certainly are, Doc. I'm going to let you do that. As you know, I'm going to stay with you, but as you know, I haven't been on the show for 2 weeks because of some things I've had to do.
Yes, you're right.
But finally, at least I have been able to be on.
Yes.
And of course, not that you need me, but at any rate, if you could start it off, I'll be right here listening.
Okay, yes, sir.
And talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. We need that voice.
Okay, thank you.
Brian and Andrew, let's tell us a little bit about the Veterans Assistance Commission of Lake County.
Thank you, Don. I'll let Andrew start, but I'll tell you, Andrew was a student of mine at the Veterans Clinic at the John Marshall Law School. And it was great to have him because he had been in the real world for 12 years. And Cliff, as you know, and Don, as you know, you go off to the service and you get some real-life experience. You're not going to get screwing around in college or just bumming around at your first job that you're not going to keep forever.
That's true.
Yeah, and he's doing some interesting work up there in Waukegan as the superintendent of the Lake County Veterans Assistance Commission. As all your listeners know who are in the Chicago area, Waukegan presents some issues. And Lake County goes from Waukegan all the way out to the middle of nowhere. So Andrew's dealing with urban issues, he's dealing with suburban issues, he's dealing with rural issues.
Wow. It's quite a spread.
So he's an interesting guy, and nobody can say no to an invite from Cliff.
Thank you. This is interesting, though, as you mentioned, and Dr. Arnold knows about all these things. But Veterans Assistance Commission of Lake County, and programs and services. There are so many, and I'm sure many of our listeners certainly know this. There are so many areas where you really have a problem getting some help if you are a veteran looking for some well-deserved assistance.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
I want to say well-deserved. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, go right ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Veterans Assistance Commission. So Illinois is different in a lot of ways, and one of the ways that we are different is the way that we care for our veterans at the local level. Back in the 1890s, the state legislature realized that there was a lot of Civil War veterans who were not being cared for, who didn't have jobs, who were injured, and nobody was really looking after them. So they came together and they created the Veterans Assistance Commissions under an act that used to be called the Bogardus Act or the Indigent War Veterans Act. And so it's been around, VACs have been around throughout the state since at least the mid-1890s. Lake County has been around since 1926, so we're actually older than the VA. And one of the real interesting ways that the VACs are different from other states is that we are not beholden to the county governments. So we are beholden to the veterans communities. So each superintendent in every county that we have is elected by the various veterans service organizations like the VFWs, the Disabled American Veterans, American Legions, AMVETS, who come together to form the commission, and they select a veteran to be their chief veteran advocate for all the veterans in the county. So we do everything. We're a full service office. Like Klaus said, I am a lawyer. I went to John Marshall Law School, graduated and passed the bar, and was in private practice for a while.
Great.
And being a veteran, I always wanted to work with veterans and help veterans. And when I saw that my predecessor was retiring, I asked Klaus about it, and Klaus said, "Yeah, go right ahead, throw your hat in the ring. It's the perfect job for you." And
Oh, fantastic.
Klaus was right. So.
Oh, fantastic.
You know, the interesting thing there, and I'm so happy you're doing that, but it makes such a difference that, you know, you're doing this. I got so amused thinking about the 1890s, you know, and
Right.
and you mentioned the Civil War.
Right.
That's really something.
So, Andrew,
what is it?
what kind of cases are you seeing up there? Like that? I mean, as an attorney, you're able to handle much more complex cases than no digs against these veteran service officers. Cliff and I have talked about this time and time again. They're overwhelmed.
Right.
You can come in with that legal skill, and I will note, Cliff, I'm going to make this like the longest running question of the day, but Andrew inherited an office that had some issues, and he's really, really professionalized that office, and I know he's increased the efficiencies up there, and he's getting a lot more results for the office. Andrew, how much do you bring into the county through additional VA benefits per year? Do you have a figure on that?
Yeah, so in fiscal year 2019, the veterans of Lake County received $125 million in compensation and pension benefits. And out of that $125 million, the VAC of Lake County was responsible for $80 million of it. So we do a lot of work for a lot of veterans and their widows especially. Lake County is an interesting county as far as the state of Illinois is concerned because we have the Navy base up here, and we also have the only federal health care center. The VA up in Lake County, which used to be called the North Chicago VA, merged with the Navy, and it's a joint DoD VA facility. So we have the Navy base, which has the boot camp and about 27 other tenant commands at it. So we have both people coming into the military, about 40,000 a year, and then we have people exiting the military at a not quite that high of a number, but still pretty high. And we have the second largest veterans population next to Cook County. So there's a lot of work and a lot of outreach and a lot of engagement with these veterans to try to convince them to stay in Lake County.
And there's a lot of things going on that people don't know about in Lake County.
Right.
All of that. Doc, did you know all of that?
Oh no, not even 1/4 of it.
Right.
So this is fantastic. I think it's a great benefit.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Cliff. We're getting some of the most affluent zip codes in North America up there on the North Shore, Lake Forest, Winnetka, Kenilworth.
True.
But we're also getting communities like North Chicago and some of the far-flung small towns of Lake County, which are not the most affluent communities in the Midwest.
Yeah. So
right. So we'll go ahead, Cliff.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to talk on Klaus's point. Is that we have veterans from all walks of life. We have veteran clients of ours who were captains of industry when they came home from Vietnam, who have started to develop some of the Agent Orange related conditions, and have seen them go from having homes in, like Klaus said, in like the Lake Forests or the Bannockburn areas, and they lose everything because of these different diseases that they have. And they try so hard. I listened in a little bit to the caller beforehand about how veterans a lot of times don't want to get help because a lot of them might not trust the government. And so you'll have these veterans who again, like I said, were captains of industry who don't want to go to the government for help, not because they don't think that they qualify for it, because they don't trust them. And they wait until almost the bitter end to come and get help. And then once they get help, they're like, I wish I had known that this service existed before I tried to handle it on my own.
That is really, as a veteran, I have to applaud you and really honor you for the work you're doing, because so many veterans are suffering out here that need that type of assistance. And, a lot of them feel like, well, why should I bother even trying, because I know it's going to be, answer is going to be no for anything I say. And to have that kind of, avenue of that available to them is actually honoring those who we should be, those who've, served honorably in the military and have served our country. So I have to really thank you for that.
Not only do I appreciate Dr. Arnold saying that, and I repeat the same thing, but there are so many people who just don't think that these things are available to veterans, which is why one of the major reasons we started this show, right? America's Heroes Group.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
So folks,
And Cliff, a point perhaps Andrew could make. Andrew, does somebody need to be a resident of Lake County to come to your Veterans Assistance Commission with a complex case?
So there are certain things that statutorily I have to provide only to residents of Lake County. For example, like a financial assistance issue. But no, as far as complex cases, no, we will represent anyone, because we know and we work with other VACs who they might get a case that they don't understand or they don't have the ability to take. Like, for example, last year I had a veteran. He was a Korean War veteran who had been unable to gain any employment for his entire post-military life because of his post-traumatic stress. And he had filed with the VA in 1979 for a nervous condition and being scared. He was denied. Well, yeah, clearly, if you look at that and you're like, yeah, absolutely. He didn't know what he had, but he was writing down his symptoms.
Yeah.
Well, PTSD didn't exist until 1980 when DSM-3 came out.
Right.
So his claim was denied. And then he refiled in 1985 and said, look, this first decision was an error. I was saying that this is what I had. And for the last 35 years, he was fighting with the VA, trying to get them to understand that not only was that claim the right claim and the right effective date, but also that claim was still open because the VA never rendered a decision on his claimed condition of being scared. So we actually had to take that all the way up to the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, which is an Article I court that falls under the VA review.
Okay, let's jump to the main point. Did you win?
Yeah, so we won.
How much money in back pay, Andrew, did this veteran receive?
Oh, boy.
So it was $390,000.
Wow.
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 And this is a gentleman who $390,000, and he's a Korean War vet, so he got this money when he was an elderly man, correct?
Correct.
Wow.
And he's gonna be able to end his life standing on his feet, right?
Right.
That's so impressive. What I want you to do is to tell them, how do we get in contact with these services? We still have more time to go, but I just wanted to hear it a couple of times so veterans can write this down and make sure they have that access point.
Yeah, absolutely. So our email is veterans@lakecountyil.gov. Again, that's veterans@lakecountyil.gov. And our phone number is 847-377-3344.
That's remarkable. That's an incredible story, and I'm so proud that you've done that for that veteran, and that he can actually live in dignity now for something that he had. And any advice for a veteran that is actually being evaluated right now? What should they be doing as far as making sure that they have the correct, medical information, the correct things that are, being entered in their forms? Is there anything they need to bring to you, like a DD-214? How do they enter the service that you're providing?
Yeah. So the first thing is to contact us. So real quick, because we're still in the situation with the world with the coronavirus and
Yes.
COVID-19.
Yes.
We're not having in-person meetings like we normally would, but we are doing everything telephonically or virtually to be able to still get this information to the VA so that we can get those claims filed and get the stuff taken care of as fast as possible. But the best thing to have is your DD-214, because if you've never filed a claim with the VA before, that's the first thing they're going to ask for. Any military medical records or treatment records you might have. If it was a long time ago, any continuity of care, so continual care that you've gotten, so any private medical records that are the same condition that you're trying to get service connected for. And then if it's something like a post-traumatic stress situation, buddy statements are hugely important. Even if you are a combat veteran who has combat awards, still having those buddy statements is a really big way forward in that, because the VA has to analyze each and every one of those. And if they don't see enough information in the file and you're claiming post-traumatic stress, they will ignore certain conditions if they don't see that claimed in the file.
Oh, fantastic! That's excellent information, right, Cliff?
It certainly is,
Yeah.
Doc.
Yeah.
Excellent information.
Now, Andrew, there's no cost to this service, correct?
Correct. It's completely pro bono.
Wow.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
How can you
No,
turn this
no.
down? This is just amazing what you're doing.
Andrew, can you repeat that phone number again?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 847-377-3344.
And when the world returns to normal, you're just a short walk from the Northwestern train station if somebody takes the North Line up to Waukegan, right?
So we actually moved. We moved to Gurnee, right across the street from Six Flags Great America, so right off of 94. And now we have a state-of-the-art office that we have the ability to actually do virtual Board of Veterans Appeals hearings at our office. And actually, during the lockdowns, we were able to do 10 such briefs and hearings for veterans, completely virtual with the board.
Wow.
So it's a state-of-the-art office now. It's every veteran who walks in, they walk in, they're like, I was not expecting to like see a place like this. And we've talked a little bit about the honor and how we need to treat our veterans. And every single one of them, they come in and they're like, I know that you guys know what you're doing because you care about your office space. So
Yeah.
so that we moved
that you
to
care,
Gurnee,
you care
but
about what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
we care about our office space, and that translates.
Oh, I got you.
True.
Yeah.
We care about them as well.
So if
okay.
a vet can't drive, how does a vet get up there? Can you pick them up? Have somebody pick them up for mass transit, or are you just transitioning all to video, or what happens if a vet doesn't have access to being online?
So there's public transportation available, and we also will do stuff over the phone and by mail as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
What's the address where you are?
So it's 501 North Riverside Drive, Suite 106, Gurnee, Illinois,
Okay.
60031.
So we can go up there and visit the office, gentlemen, and also go on the roller coaster.
There
Oh,
you
yes,
go.
true.
Absolutely.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
That's-
Andrew, what kind of issues are you seeing up there? Because the focus of what we've been talking about in this segment has usually been rural issues. Now, you've got some far-flung areas of Lake County where they're still milking cows and cutting corn. What are you seeing from those vets? Anything different than you're seeing from your vets, perhaps in a North Chicago or Waukegan?
So not really, actually. So 55% of our population up here in Lake County is actually Vietnam era or older. So each veteran is experiencing the same type of medical conditions and medical issues not each veteran, but the vast majority of them are. And they never knew about any of the way that the VA law or veterans law is written to afford them assistance in the way that it does. And they're shocked really when they find out about what is available to them. But the veterans especially now with the downturn in the economy, the veterans in Waukegan and North Chicago are pretty much in the same position that a veteran in Round Lake Beach or in Fox Lake would be experiencing, and that's loss of income. And what a lot of the vets don't realize, and a lot of the younger vets especially, is that the VA compensation system is set up to provide them that safety net, to prevent them from getting to the point where they are almost to having no hope. So we've had a huge uptick during the lockdown of a lot of actually younger vets contacting because they've lost their jobs, they've lost their medical insurance, they've lost their spouses have lost their income, and they're in danger of being of losing their home or being evicted. And we're there to provide that quick assistance to keep them in their home or keep them in their apartment. But then we're able to work with them to actually build that case file to actually be able to go in front of the VA and say, look, this is what happened during this veteran service, whether it was Iraq or Afghanistan or anywhere else in the world over the last 20 years. And these are the injuries and diseases that this person sustained.
Yeah, this is, one of the things that you mentioned before was the COVID issue. And I always encourage our veterans to make sure they wear a mask, that they are, taking care of themselves and washing their hands and that kind of thing before
good
they come
for you.
out. But, do they have to, make sure that they comply with that when they come to visit you in the office? And are they, can they feel relatively safe when they come to the office? Because they, a lot of the veterans are concerned about what's going on with the COVID. And I know there's some online services. But maybe, we're doing we have a couple of minutes to go now. And I was wondering if you can tell us something about, this, rebroadcast your telephone number, where, the website, and then, how you show up at the office. Do you call first, or how do you come in? And this really quickly.
Yes. So our phone number is 847-377-3344. And our email is veterans@lakecountyil.gov. And as far as visiting the office, so we're still not doing in-person visitations, just because of the nature of the disease. Even though we are in phase 4, again we do have 55% of the veterans are over the age of 60 in Lake County.
Oh, yes.
So we don't want a young person to come in who might be asymptomatic, and have an older person that might have those comorbidities come in right after them and come down with the disease.